You know, some couples really need to go to couples therapy, and almost everyone needs to get some real therapy for themselves. This movie is what happens when people decide to not seek professional help, and honestly, that could be said about every single movie ever.
That's some drama.
I'm not really the biggest fans of rom-coms or romance films in general, but seeing that Robert Pattinson and Zendaya were involved in this project had me a little bit intrigued. Also, it's being distributed by A24, so that always helps. The trailers were vague enough to not spoil anything that happened in this movie, but they had just enough to pique my interest. And speaking about spoilers, I'm gonna try to do my best to talk around something that occurs or is revealed at the end of the first act, because I think you should go in completely blind. It definitely caught my entire theater off, and from that point on, everything started being given or perceived with a different meaning. Things that we saw earlier are now being seen differently, and the movie rides this high for as long as it can. Are there hidden messages or hints of who this person might really be? Every single detail now really matters, and how characters react is where the giggles come from. Robert Pattinson's character Charlie is freaking out. Zendaya's character Emma is kind of freaking out but trying to keep things chill. One of their friends is definitely freaking out. Everything is just spiraling out of control, and the audience, us, are just as worried, confused, but also having a grand old time because it is kind of funny. Everything is sus, and Charlie is getting weird and acting like a little bitch, and Robert Pattinson, of course, as per usual, is delivering a fantastic performance with his actual English accent. It's like hearing Johnny Depp's real voice for the first time. And to be completely honest, I wasn't the biggest fan of Zendaya's acting career, but that has slowly changed over the years. Upon further evaluation, I found her to be the worst performance in the Dune franchise, and not that great of a Mary Jane Watson. Sorry, I meant Michelle Jones Watson. Although I will acknowledge that her MJ hasn't really been given much to do or much of an opportunity to really shine as Peter's love interest. And I don't really give two fucks about Euphoria. But here in the drama, I think Zendaya really shows off her chops as an actress. I think she shows a lot of range. Not to say that range is the only way to judge a good actor, but the setting where the film takes place really helps bring her performance to life. And when her and Robert Pattinson are working together in a scene, their chemistry feels real. I mean, they play off each other so damn good, it made me wonder how Tom Holland was feeling. Or perhaps he was jealous that his fiance got to kiss the Batman. The production here is fantastic. It looks sexy. The stylistic choices remind me of Luca Guadagnino, and if you've seen his work, you know that his stuff looks good. And in here, everything looks and feels real. There isn't some weird Hollywood touch to it when you look in the background and you're not sure if it's real or not. This is a gorgeous looking movie with some gorgeous looking people. Now, onwards to the real issue of this movie. Beyond the giggles and the rom-com elements, the film ultimately revolves around this big reveal at the end of Act 1, and as amusing and shocking that information may be, I think it dug the film into a hole. It touches on a very sensitive and complex topic that just doesn't belong in the context or vibes of this movie. If it wasn't a rom-com and more of a serious psychological exploration of how this revelation affects people and their relationships, I can see it being very fascinating and adding more interesting layers to the story. The movie tries to play around this topic with some humor and visual gags, and it does work to some degree, but whenever it jumps to a flashback or some scene that represents what the characters are thinking, it makes the movie feel tonally uneven. Not to say that it isn't possible to mix serious themes within a comedic setting, but the topic at hand just didn't really fit the narrative. It kind of became more of a distraction and had me wondering if the film was gonna go in a more serious route, or have some giant reveal that this person is in fact a psychopath and planning to do something crazy. Again, the movie wrote itself into a corner and unfortunately never manages to crawl its way out. It went for this shock value type thing that does make things a bit funny and ridiculous, especially when everything starts blowing up in the end, but it all just kind of resolves itself in a kind of unsatisfying kind of way. Almost anticlimactic. It has that A24 feel of an ending where it's kind of a cop-out and then just ends on a positive note. Or the kind of note that leaves you wondering what could be next, or, you know, like, okay, we got a hint of what is gonna happen next, but, you know, we're just gonna cut to black right now. I think the drama overall is a semi-enjoyable watch. I don't think it really lives up to the title, but I did have fun watching all these characters try to figure out how the hell to handle their shit before the wedding day. The drama gets a "Don't shoot!" out of 4. Alright, that's enough of me. I'll catch you guys next time.
Soviet test